The elections in Jammu and Kashmir are over. The turnout was 6% more than during the Lok Sabha elections. To talk about this very consequential return of democracy to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, I'm joined by the BJP's key strategist, Rahul Madhav. He was party in charge for the elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Ram Madhav ji, thank you so much and welcome to India today. I also want to tell our viewers that this is a very special interaction because Ram Madhav ji, ever since he went back to the RSS and has now come back to the BJP, has not spoken to the media at all. So this is literally the first time he's speaking since he was in some ways rehabilitated within the Bharatiya Janata Party. So thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate you taking our time. The elections in Jammu and Kashmir just concluded. You were in charge of leading your party's campaign. How do you think they have gone? What is your assessment of what the 8th of October is likely to throw up?
Firstly, the expectations about the outcome results on 8th October are very high on our side. But let me at the very outset probably state clearly that I entered the scene much later, just about, I would say, 40 days ago. But our party leadership, both at the national level, especially leaders like Shri Amit Bhai, Home Minister, have already done a lot of groundwork there. They have prepared the party, the organization for this very crucial election. We basically took it forward, and whatever strategies were laid out by them, my job was to make sure they are implemented correctly. Based on the experience of last 40 days and the way the party geared up and rose to the occasion, and most importantly the contribution of Honorable Prime Minister. He spoke at 3 rallies in Jammu, 1 rally in Kashmir. That created the real turnaround for the party, and we are very confident that the BJP will emerge as the single largest party in this election.
I spent a few days in the valley during the Lok Sabha elections and now around the assembly elections. The sense seems to be that BJP, even though it's not campaigning directly in the valley, is pulling the strings of the independents and the smaller parties. Characters like Engineer Rashid are being accused of their opponents, of acting at your behest, Ram Madhav ji.
That is actually an insult to those people, those leaders. They are all leaders in their own right, whether it is engineer or whether it is many other important players there. Those who do not know about Kashmir probably should know that in Kashmir there has always been a major role for independent political players. Not today. There have always been very important independent players, smaller groups, they have always existed. I don't want to name them, but there are some independents who have been winning elections 4 times, 5 times in Kashmir Valley. So if today a few others, new entrants join, that should not be interpreted as though Delhi is pulling the strings or they are puppets in the hands of somebody else. That's not the correct interpretation. It's true that this time the political canvas in Kashmir Valley especially has been much bigger than what it used to be before. And that should be taken as a very big acknowledgement of Government of India's success in bringing true democracy to Valley. Why so many new entrants are seen today? Not because they are all put there by central government or anything. There is a great enthusiasm to become a part of this great festival of democracy there. I'm sure you all have witnessed how much enthusiasm was there for contesting elections and also for voting in the elections.
But sir, it is also coincidental that an accused under UAPA, which is a very draconian act, gets bail just before the assembly elections. He seems to have a lot of money, can spend that on his candidates, and is able to campaign freely. And therefore, when the likes of Farooq and Omar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti see it, they say, "Dal mein kuch kala hai boss, isko aise to nahi di, ye BJP ne isko bail dilai."
I mean, if those leaders do not have faith in Indian judiciary and they think that any such judgment coming from a court is manipulated by BJP, that will be very unfortunate. That will be a sad commentary on India's very independent judiciary. But very interestingly, Rahulji, it is the very same leaders who have been repeatedly demanding the release of all political prisoners. If you see their manifestos, in their manifesto they categorically said, if we come to power, we will release all the prisoners, all the political detainees. If one political prisoner was given a parole, it's not even a regular bail. Parole was given by the court in its own wisdom, and now we are complaining how could he get bail. That shows their,
But I'll explain the complication. The likes of Engineer Rashid are allowed to campaign freely, but someone like a Mirwais Omar Farooq of the Hurriyat conference is not allowed to leave his house, is not allowed to attend Friday prayers, is not allowed to campaign, is not allowed to speak. So if what you're saying is correct, why does the rule not apply equally to everyone?
Mirwais Farooq is a Mirwais. He is a preacher.
Yes.
He is a religious leader. He is not a political activist.
No, but he's allowed to go out and speak.
Oh, absolutely.
Only
on very specific two occasions, there was a local situation in which, as far as my knowledge goes, he was detained, not exactly detained, he was confined to his house where he lives in the downtown area. But otherwise, he was freely meeting people, he was talking to people. They don't campaign. You probably know that Mirwais never campaigns like how political leaders campaign. His sermons are limited to the mosque from the pulpit of which he always gives his sermons. That was not restricted. On two specific occasions, there was probably some situation which demanded some action by the administration. But I don't think there is anything political about it. Like there was nothing, nobody was restraining anybody else. There was the daughter of a jailed separatist leader. She freely campaigned. Nobody stopped her. You mentioned about Mr. Engineer Rashid. He freely went about campaigning, spewing venom against us, against Prime Minister Modi, our government. Nobody restrained him. But I must make one correction there. Yes. I have seen the campaign very closely. The amount of money that NC has spent in this election, nobody could match them. They
spend more than the BJP.
Much more. Valley, we never
I know.
have anything to do in Valley. But since you mentioned that where is that money for so-and-so person and all, everybody spent some money, but the highest spenders of money in the Valley were the NC people. Now they are complaining about somebody else. It's what you call is pot calling kettle black.
So now the BJP fought hard on the seats of the Jammu region, which after deemed limitation have gone up to 43, and then the BJP did not fight in the valley. Now, if Naya Kashmir is what you claim it to be and people are very happy with the development work that you've done, why didn't your party put up candidates in the valley?
No, to correct the information, we had 19 candidates in the valley from BJP. Valley has 47 seats. In 19 places, we put up our candidates because that's the strength that we have there. And I must tell you, we are expecting first ever win for the party this time in one of these constituencies. The 8th of October may give us a historic, very pleasant result in one of the constituencies in Kashmir Valley also. Not that we are not there. Our strength is limited, we are contesting in 19 seats.
No, why didn't you contest all the seats?
No, see, that's why I said, we need to have strong, credible candidates to put up in all these seats. Right now, our strength is limited to 19 seats. We could have probably given seats in a few more constituencies, but that would have helped much. So, based on our own assessment, we put up 19 candidates.
So now, basically, the BJP's hope is that you do as well as possible in Jammu, and then you bring these smaller parties, independents together, and that's how you can cobble a majority. But who do you think will likely come to you? Because अब तो जिससे पूछते हो सब बोलते ना तौबा बीजेपी से हाथ नहीं मिलाना.
I do not want to talk about the scenario post the October 8th at this juncture. There will be many possibilities. We are hoping to get a very good number. We have contested in all the seats in Jammu. Jammu has 43 seats. We have contested in all the seats in Jammu, and we contested in 19 seats in the valley. Together we were there in more than 60 seats. We are hoping to get a very good mandate in Jammu. That may be as high as one can imagine. And once that number is out, then we will see. And what will happen in Valley is also a big question mark today.
What do you think
because
will happen
Valley appears to be very fragmented today. For the reason that you mentioned earlier. Number one, there are these established parties like NC and PDP, and also Congress was backing NC. But then there are a number of other players. There is PC of Sajad Loan, there is Altaf Bukhari's JKAP, there is Engineer Rashid's AIP, then independents, a large number of independents, dissidents from NC, PDP are also in the fray. So it's going to be most likely a very fragmented mandate in Kashmir Valley. So that will throw up a very difficult political scenario. Let us see what happens.
No, but that is where Ram Madhav steps in, because you're used to playing what you described the role of Draupadi, carrying everybody along in difficult circumstances. Is that the reason you were brought back from the RSS to
Rahul,
the
you must remember, assuming we are not there, even NC will face the same situation. Take me, as I said, we will be the largest party. If we step back, which won't happen, I'm just hypothetically speaking, NC will not be able to get numbers.
But NC
still has to
PDP?
deal with... No way. They will not be able to reach anywhere near the halfway mark. In the given scenario, 45 is the halfway mark. They will come nowhere near the halfway mark. These three parties together, I'm telling.
So is the BJP willing to ally with Engineer Rashid and his independent MLAs?
So, first of all, let us see if he wins any seats or not. Why should we talk about something? No. Why would we be in favor of somebody who was throughout the 1 month of campaigning talking ill of Prime Minister, talking ill of Government of India, challenging parties to
because
bring back 370?
Because he was damaging the NC's prospects. फायदा तो आप ही को पहुंचा रहे थे. He was damaging the NC in the valley.
Probably, Rahul, you people don't really understand valley politics. The more you emphasize on article like 370, things like that, the more they will benefit parties like NC. That is how the politics works in the valley. That's what I'm saying. We see Delhi, from Delhi we see the politics in Kashmir differently. In fact, I can tell you, the more we attacked NC leadership in Kashmir, the more it helped them in Kashmir.
So you are hoping the likes of Sajad Loan and the National Conference will come over, right?
That's why I said I don't want to comment on what opportunities will arise after October 8th. Let us wait for the mandate to come. In any case, it is likely to be a fragmented mandate, but we will be the closest to power in terms of numbers.
But you're open to allying with the likes of Sajad?
So obviously, if I have a few numbers short, and if I want to be in power, I have to find some partners. Who those partners will be, that will be decided after the election. You see, I tell you, Kashmir and of course including Jammu, both regions together are going to send at least 10 independents. No, they are not affiliated to any party. They are independents. They may opt for any arrangement. They may be willing to work with any party. So there will be many probabilities after 8th October.
And what about your one-time friend Mehbooba Mufti of the PDP? You ran a government with her. Are you
Let
open?
her win the seats first. All these parties, they have to first of all win enough seats to be there to stake any claim, right? So that's why I'm again repeating that we would like to visit until 8th of October and see who gets how many seats.
When will statehood be restored to Jammu and Kashmir?
Parliament only can answer that question. There was a commitment given by Honorable Home Minister to the Parliament, if you recall, on the 6th of August 2019 itself. And Prime Minister himself spoke about fulfilling that commitment several times, but the latest was when he addressed a rally in Srinagar last week. I'm sure...
no, but is it going to happen soon after results, or you'll delay it till 2029? What is the level of commitment in the party? As the chief strategist, what advice are you giving?
Where is the need for any advice when Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Home Minister themselves have committed that we will give statehood to the...
करेंगे statehood restore. ये नहीं बोला ना कि immediately करेंगे नवंबर दिसंबर में या 5 साल बाद. आपको जब बड़ा फैसला करना होता है 370 टाइप का आप कर देते हो. आपकी वो इच्छा शक्ति है कि नहीं? That's my question.
No, इच्छा शक्ति नहीं होती तो commitment क्यों देते?
तो कब करेंगे?
There is complete commitment to that promise made on the floor of the Parliament, which is very sacred for us, and that will be fulfilled at an appropriate time.
Early stage or
as early as possible. That's what Honorable Prime Minister himself said. Soon we will do it.
Now in Jammu, a lot of reports suggested that people are also unhappy with the revocation of Article 370 because of land rights, employment. That is not as if 370 has universal appeal. Removing 370 has universal appeal in Jammu, and the Congress's calculation is that some of this disaffection could benefit them.
Oh, let them live in their la la land. I don't want to talk about Congress. Congress has not actually, for us, we couldn't see them anywhere. You won't believe Congress leaders were addressing rallies on mobile phone. The rally was taking place half an hour from where they are addressing. It's just half an hour, 45 minutes away from the place from where they are addressing. That much distance they were not ready to travel by road.
Why?
That is what Congress party is all about in Jammu. So that's the question that one should ask them. Whereas our Union Home Minister travelled by road for 60 kilometers, travelled by road, both ways, to address political rallies. We fought with all sincerity to do good to people of Jammu, and Congress party leaders came, and it was like tourism for them, sitting in the hotel, addressing rallies which are half an hour away for you.
You think the Congress was lazy in Jammu?
Absolutely, that's what people of Jammu felt.
The Congress thinks Rahul Gandhi is a hero in Kashmir especially, and even in Jammu because of his Bharat Jodo Yatra, those images, baraf pad rahi hai, Rahul bol raha hai. They think that Rahul has a larger than life image in Jammu.
Rahul, first of all, heroes, it's not necessary that heroes will win elections. Political leaders will win elections. You have to behave like a real politician. Let us see what happens. Congress party has contested in many seats in Jammu, and it is in alliance with NC in Valley. I can tell you, single digit.
You think Congress will be less than double?
I don't want to comment that way, because after all we respect the mandate on 8th, but we are very sure that it will be a very dismal performance.
I want to spend some time on your rehabilitation. When the whole BJP PDP formula went south, you were seen by some in the BJP as being the villain. कि इन्होंने हमारी ideology कच्ची कर दी, हम तो कभी भी इसके मन में नहीं थे, यही लेके गए, सब BJP का काम खराब कर दिया, and therefore in some ways you went into a political vanvas of sorts. Then you went back to the RSS, and now you've come back. People are saying ये 240 का impact है, क्योंकि 240 आई तो BJP को राम माधव को वापस लाना.
No, firstly, when I worked in the party for more than 6 years, about 6.5 years I was there as General Secretary, I followed the guidance or the orders of the party leadership. Whether we formed a government in Jammu and Kashmir or the governments that we formed in the Northeast, I was there involved in forming at least 10 governments in those 6-7 years. But everything in our party, it's not me who takes decisions. It's okay, people can blame me, that I don't mind. But those decisions are taken at the very highest level. Those days, even Arun Jaitley ji, Prime Minister himself, we all used to take decisions together. We decided to go in for certain arrangements, whether it was in Kashmir or it was in states like, states in the Northeast. It was a collective decision of the party leadership, which I was given the responsibility of implementing. I really don't think that it had anything to do with dropping me from the party position in 2020, because we served for 2 terms, and party leadership always tries to bring new people in. After 3 years, yes, I'm happy that I have been given a very important assignment this time. I really don't want to say that it's because of any compulsion or because of any weakness or whatever. I only think that this party or this leadership, whether it's Prime Minister Modi or Amit Shah ji or Nadda ji, they always keep an eye on the leaders available, and at an appropriate time they assign appropriate responsibility to them. That's why I got this assignment.
You're being very diplomatic, Ram Madhav ji, which is very natural because you're speaking in public. But many political observers will see your return and your rehabilitation from political exile as a sign of RSS asserting itself in the BJP's affairs. That the RSS, because you are seen, you've been a spokesperson of the Sangh, that your rehabilitation is in some way seen as Sangh asserting itself in the BJP's affairs.
No, firstly, broadly in terms of ideological or our ideational sphere if you talk about. Is Prime Minister not Modi a part of that ideology?
Of course.
Is Amit Shah ji not a part of it? Where is this question that Sangh is imposing or it's affirming its authority and all that? You see, at the ideological level, all are Sangh only. Everybody subscribes to that nation first thinking. So this my return need not be seen in that manner. I would, in fact, I would be happy to clarify that. I myself always thought that after some time probably I would get an opportunity once again. So I myself waited for 3 years to see if I can come back in some role in the party, and finally that happened. Yes, when that transition happened, my mother organization, namely the RSS, was willing to allow me to go back. That I give a lot of credit to Sangh leadership, and I have huge respect for Sangh leadership for accommodating me for 3 years and then allowing me to go back. Sometimes it's not easy in a very.
Why did you pick the BJP and not go back full time to the RSS?
No, I am anyway full time in RSS.
Of course, but
even now
I am to a post where you have an
RSS.
organizational responsibility.
For one important reason that I never see. I opted to be an RSS functionary. At some point in 2014, I was asked to go into the political organization. It was the decision of the RSS. When I was to leave that party responsibility, it was not because RSS called me back. It was a decision taken for some important, probably reason by the party leadership. So it's not that RSS wanted me to come back. So if RSS wanted me to come back, they would have told me, come back and take some responsibility. But it was a decision taken at the political level. That's why I generally requested Sangh leadership that allow me some time, let us see what is the thinking. And there is some different thinking now.
So Kashmir elections are over. What happens next? You were earlier in charge of Northeast and Jammu and Kashmir. What role do you see or hope for yourself going forward?
No, Kashmir elections are not over yet. Only polling is over. We always jokingly say, Kashmir, really the action begins after the results. People in other states, the whole action is before the results. Once results are out, you have a government. In Kashmir, the action begins after 8th October.
And that's why you've been sent? Because
not just me. Not just me. Right from Prime Minister to Home Minister, everybody will be involved in...
will the BJP have a Muslim Chief Minister if you have an opportunity?
Look, that's why I said I do not want to comment on what will happen after 8th October because ultimately it depends on numbers. We would want a Jammu-based and a Jammu-centric government. That's what Honorable Prime Minister told in his final rally. Jammu ki sarkar hogi. So that is a very predominant sentiment. But for that, required numbers and required combinations have to happen. That will certainly be a priority for us. But all these things will be hypothetical because you never know what will be the final numbers that we see on 8th October.
Well, you present a certain type of politics, at its core one of reconciliation, of balance, something which wasn't required much from 2019 to 24 but is suddenly back in vogue, which is why also you're on the hot seat once again.
No, look, Kashmir, I have dealt with it even in RSS also. States like Jammu and Kashmir need to be dealt with a very large-heartedness, with a very open mind. Ideological commitment, not wavering. Not wavering on your ideological commitment. We never wanted 370, you should go, we are with it. But you have to be accommodative, you have to be you have to be sympathetic to different viewpoints and ultimately try and win over more and more people to your side.
But what's your vision for this Naya Kashmir? If the BJP were to come to power?
No, Naya Kashmir, I can tell you one thing, Rahulji. This whole general perception here that all Kashmiris are falling for 370 or return of 8 and they do not like Delhi, it's all totally wrong, totally wrong. If you closely observe the social media posts of people of Kashmir, most of them praise Prime Minister Modi. Most of them praise his developmental activity. Maybe they still do not fully support our decision on 370, but they will understand. But even in that, nobody today wants Article 370
But they want statehood back as quickly
statehood.
as
you look at the goalposts, how even these political parties change their goalposts. Initially, the manifesto of NC, the very first statement was, we will bring 370 back. Then we said, and the Home Minister said, no force on earth can bring it back. Then they realized that it's not going to work. They went back. Then they promised, we will give statehood. Then we challenged, how can you give statehood? Statehood has to be given by us, and we committed. They again went back and said, we will try and put pressure on the government to bring statehood back. They don't have to put pressure on us. We are willing to give statehood back to, not back actually, it's a new UT. So they have to get it afresh, statehood to this UT.
Will it be as powerful a state government as any other, or will it be a very curtailed? Is it Delhi mein statehood hai bhi or nahi bhi?
I can't comment on that. What kind of arrangement will be there? That is a decision that Parliament will take.
आप जीते तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की पावर होगी, आप हारे तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की पावर नहीं है, ऐसा तो नहीं है?
ऐसा नहीं. What powers that state will get when it is created will be decided by the Parliament. And today Parliament has strong opposition also. Let them debate and decide.
Now, Devinder Rana, who's now in the BJP, was earlier in the NC, right-hand man, once upon a time, of Omar Abdullah, said that once you were in talks with Omar and Farooq Saab to become a part of the alliance. Is that correct? And are you still open to an alliance with the National Conference?
We are not in talks with anybody.
He was talking about many years ago.
Oh, okay. See, in 2014, there was a peculiar situation wherein there was only a possibility of BJP NC coming together or BJP PDP coming together to form the government. Otherwise, there was no government. We would have to go back to people for another mandate. That time, yes, talks happened between us and them and us and PDP also. Finally, PDP, BJP worked out. But right now, no such thing is happening. We are very confident that we will inch closer to majority mark. Whatever is short, we will see who will be ready to fail with us.
Are you open to align with Omar Abdullah?
That question doesn't arise because we are on our own. We will have enough numbers, and we will probably see who are agreeable with our thought process and who will come to us.
Well, the most remarkable comment you made, according to me, in this interview is that in Kashmir, the real game starts after the results come. So I think watch out for that and watch out for Ram Madhav. Thank you very much, Ram Madhav ji, for joining us and for breaking your silence with us. Thank you. Thank you.